Well, all right. It is Thursday, April 11th. It's just about 12:30 here on the West Coast. Getting to this review much later in the day than I typically do. And that's because today was just a really great live stream. I'm really excited about the way the live stream went today. There was a lot of conversation. I got some new subscribers today and joining the chat and just making it a really engaging, fun experience where I got to have some conversation, talk a lot about what I've been doing, things that I'm working on, how I'm evolving, how things are changing, and yeah, and I'm adding new things to my strats. I've been typically trading one strategy here on YouTube this year, here on NQ, and just yesterday adding a new setup that I've talked about, and I might as well just talk about that real quick, just in terms of how I'm evolving my strategies. And now, yeah, it's plural because up until now, what I've been doing, if I pull up a different chart here, is I've been pulling up different tick size charts, and every time there's a second entry, I look to see if it's working for my profit target. And I start to look from the session open, which is from the previous day, from the day, the trading day that I'm trading. And so I go through this chart and I look and see if every second entry is working for my profit target. Then that's a chart that I want to trade. I want to trade on charts that have no second entries that lose. And when I see a chart that is trending in terms of every second entry working, then my strategy and my edge is I'm supposed to take every single entry that occurs, every single second entry. I'm supposed to take it. And as we can see from my stats over the course of the year, I'm an 80% trader with the strategy. Now, I've made little adjustments here and there, whether I subjectively skip a trade or whether I take them all. And I'm still kind of finding the balancing act of that. But 214 trades is a pretty good data sample. And I've been 80% consistently across the board. So I know I'm winning 8 out of 10 trades just from that system alone. And what I do is I find 3 or 4 of these charts, different size tick charts, all in queue, and those are the charts I trade off of. And it doesn't matter which chart the setup happens on. I'm supposed to take every single one as they occur to the best of my ability. Sometimes they happen at the same time, or slightly, maybe back to back. And I can't get into all of them. And then there's also a very limited set of rules I've created for myself to keep me out of some trades. But it just has nothing to do with like max pat system in terms of all the rules, drawing channels, drawing trend lines, whether it's a good signal bar and all that kind of stuff. But it does have some similarities in terms of I will draw measured moves to look for targets of where the market may be going to. I do keep things in mind like retesting highs on strong push-ups and things like that. But I don't care about inside bars. I don't care if it's a bad signal bar. But I do enter in the same way where I enter one tick above a signal bar or one tick below for a short. And I put my stop, generally speaking, one tick below the signal bar or above the signal bar, depending on the direction. And that's how I've been trading. Yesterday, I traded what I was calling the orb. I took a trade yesterday on it and had a win. And today I took it again and had another win. Although, as I'll show you here, I had to work out of the trade to make it work. So I'm now 2-0, and I'll talk about this trade first. But I decided, instead of calling it the orb, which is what I called it yesterday in the video, and what I was referring to it as in today's live stream. During the live stream, Alpine Trader on YouTube came up quite a bit. He's been a large influence on me in terms of how I'm looking at the Apex accounts that I'm trading, how I'm looking at my risk management strategy, how I'm thinking about trading prop firms versus live self-funded cash accounts and what the differences are. And he's been a game changer for me in terms of how I look at trading these accounts. And it's changed the way I trade the accounts, and it's changed the way I look at the risk management, and it changed the way I look at, if I take a loss that says $548 loss here, it's changed the way of how I look at Whether I accept that that is like I lost $550 today, or did I really lose 550, or did I just lose tickets back that I had made, and now I have to make more tickets if I want to get a payout. So I can talk about that a little bit further. Maybe I've talked about it in other videos. Like and subscribe. Feel free to comment below. Feel free to ask questions. Comment what you like, what you don't like about what I'm doing. But Alpine has been just a large presence for me in terms of my growth as a trader, especially this year in 2024. And I'm not nearly at my goals of where I want to be yet, but I'm working my way towards getting there. And I've been watching him trade for quite some time, and he's made an absolute killing, especially here in 2024 in these first months. And most of his wins primarily are on a trade that he refers to as the orb, ORB. And that's at the New York Open. And that's where this trade occurred. And most of the profits he's making on his accounts is at this one time of day. He takes a trade and he trades it on multiple accounts, and he's only lost twice since November taking this trade. And so he's been absolutely crushing it. So I've been following him for a long time, and I've really just resisted the idea of like trying something new, folding something else in, trying to learn something different. Because my system's been working pretty good overall, 80%, like I said. And so I've just been resistant. It's also very early in the morning for me to be able to trade the 6:30 a.m. New York Open for me here on the West Coast means I have to wake up at 6 a.m. It's already been really hard for me to wake up at 6:30 to be ready and on stream by 7 a.m. As a lot of you know, anyone who's been following me, a lot of times I'm late. I was trying to do it at 6:45. I was never there at 6:45, so I just decided to make it 7. So now it's even, the idea of waking up at 6 to have everything ready to go and ready for a trade right at 6:30 when I'm extremely tired in the morning. I'm not a morning person, has just been daunting to me to think about. But I just see him crushing it time and time again. I just said, you know what? This guy is trading so well. I have to take a look at it and give it a shot and see if I could figure out. He doesn't show it on his live stream, and he refers to it. He'll show his entries. He'll show it after the fact, and he talks about it. And so he's given enough clues and enough information for me to kind of say like, okay, I think I understand what he's doing. And so Tuesday night this week, I went on playback. And I tested 26 days just from the end of September, the new contract for the last contract of the year, and just the first 26 days of the contract. And I won 26 out of 26 times. I'm not kidding. Literally won every single one. Now, there were a few of them that I had to do what he does, where he doesn't use a stop loss. And if the trade goes against him to start the trade, he will add a contract and scalp each additional contract as their own individual trade until he can work himself out of the trade with a profit. So I definitely had to do that a couple times in my testing, in my back testing. Yesterday, I opened a new account, Evaluation 36. It was a free account. I had a free code for any size evaluation. I decided I'm going to use it only for this this method, only for this setup, and see how I do. And after now getting 28 wins in a row with today's win, I'm so tempted to want to start copy trading a second account to it, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to just stick to my guns and continue to test it. Today could have been a disaster. I got into this trade. Wait a second. I'm going to get into this trade in a second. But I just want to say, instead of calling it the orb, which is what I was referring to it yesterday as, I'm going to refer to it as the Alp. And that's for Alpine. And I'm just naming the trade the Alpine trade. Okay. So I'm going to refer to it as the Alp as far as, or you know what? Maybe I'll even, here, check this out. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to name it the Alpine. It's the Alpine trade as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So to give him full credit, whether he wants it or not, he's been an influence on me. I mean, quite frankly, he's even the reason why I even started a YouTube channel at all. I just liked the fact that he showed everything. He wasn't trying to hide anything of his accounts, showing his balances, showing his P&L, showing whether it's a PA account, showing which numbered account even. I mean, he doesn't even block out his actual account number. I'm blocking out the account number just to be safe. I don't, there's no real money in these accounts. It's not like somebody can like hack the system and get into your account and take the money out somehow or whatever, because it's not real money. These are sim accounts, but I just never know. So I block out the account number just as a precautionary or measure, but I want to show what account numbers I'm actually on, right? So all of that, credit to him. It's the reason why I started the YouTube channel, the reason why I was inspired to want to share my journey trading, especially trading on the Apex, but overall my journey as well. And so I'm calling it the Alpine trade from now on. That's what I'm going to refer to it as. And that's what this was right here, this big mess. And so let me get into trade number one today, which was the Alpine trade. Let's take a look. All right, so as we can see here, there's a lot of price action. There was news at 5:30 that sent this market skyrocketing up. And you can see that there's a whole lot more bars than I usually have on the chart. This is not a tick chart. I am using a 1 minute time frame chart. That's what he does. So if I'm going to try to emulate the trade, I'm doing the same thing. So I am on a 1 minute chart here. Oh, I got to take all this stuff off the screen. So let me do that real quick. I forgot. All right. I don't want to mess up this video by forgetting the overlays and can't see the see what I'm talking about and have to do the whole thing over again. So so here we go. So this is a 1 minute chart. I'm doing all my other trading, all my other setups are going to be on tick charts, but for this one time of day, New York Open, I'm just going to be trading what Alpine refers to as the orb trade. And so this is the Alpine trade. So we had a shot straight up from the previous news. And so, I mean, check this out. I can't make this stuff up. So I got top ticked into a long on this trade. Now I've got a long entry and a short entry set up for whether it goes long or short on the breakout. And, I tried to make this be enough outside of the range that I don't get ticked to the top side if it's going to do this. But I mean, come on guys, look at this. This is crazy. The very top tick, I got entered into that trade. Okay, going long. So immediately, this thing took me in and started moving against me really fast. And I for sure thought, okay, well, I had 27 trades in a row that I won, mostly in backtesting, but also yesterday's one trade on this new evaluation. I was like, okay, here's going to come the loss. And so I knew right away that I was going to work out of this trade. I was prepared for it. And so as this trade worked against me, I knew I was going to add one contract and just try to be as smart as I can about it and work out of the trade. And so I had to do that 5 times in the course of this trade. I was in this trade from the time I got entered on the top tick here to the time I got out of the trade right here. I was in this trade for the first 22 minutes of the market. So where I thought I was going to have a trade that won in seconds and then I can have all that time to just prepare my charts and get ready for my live stream, I was in the trade for 22 minutes before I was able to get out with a profit. And let me talk about that actually real quick as well. Alpine does not stream this trade that he does. And for that reason alone, I'm actually not going to stream it as well. I feel like there's some reason he's not streaming it, and I don't really know what the reason is. I don't have nearly as big of a following as he has. I mean, he's got like 16,000 subscribers. I've got like 70 or whatever it is at this point, a little bit more than that. So it's not like anything anyone sees me do is going to like change the market. And of course, all of our trades are not even on the live market. Like, pro traders are not seeing our trades. The only people seeing our trades are the prop firms that we're trading on that can see our trades. And then if you're on YouTube showing your trades, then your followers can see your trades. So, it's not entirely clear to me why he doesn't show it, other than I think he just doesn't want either to give Apex a reason to make a new rule that you can't trade this way at this time, or he doesn't want enough people figuring it out that it starts making the trade not work for some reason. because too many people are doing it. I don't know. Maybe it's a superstitious thing. Whatever it is, I'm going to follow his lead, and I'm not going to stream it. So I'm going to take these trades every day, pre-stream, and then I will talk about it like this after the stream. So here we go. Got top ticked. Someone asked me in the stream today, actually, why I don't just reverse position. I mean, this thing happens so fast that instead of reversing position, if I had reverse position, so basically it's going against me. Okay, so what do? I don't have a stop loss. I'll just accept a loss, right, randomly, and randomly enter the reverse position. Well, what if I randomly reverse position all the way down here, and then it only goes that much, and I still don't reach a profit target on that trade, right? And not only that, but like to make up all the loss of that, I can't just do my scalp anymore. I got to go for a much bigger trade to the bottom side to get a win. So I could easily reverse position, lose here, and then it pops back up like it did, and then lose here and blow up my account. So I don't think it's a viable solution to try to do that, in my opinion. I like what Alpine does. He adds a contract and treats it as an individual scalp and tries to buy and sell his way out of a bad trade. And so that's what I did today. And so as you can see, this thing made a large push down. I can see it had a double body here that was pretty evenly matched on the lows. It started pushing up, and the way it looked, I felt like, okay, this was probably a good area to try to at least get a little scalp, right? So I bought here, and this thing was pushing up fast, and I moved my profit target here. So on that one trade alone, if I can figure out how to see this, I entered at 36.75 and I exited at 49.25. So what is that? I haven't even calculated this. So that's like 13 points, 12 and a half points, something like that on that first added trade. So I made up that many points right there. And then again, I added right here. Okay. And so this ad, I'm not always going to get this deep into it, but this ad was at 1850. And then I exited at 56.25. So I made another 6.25 points up right there. At that point, I was like kind of around break even, maybe even got slightly profitable right in this area, and then it turned back against me, right? So it came back down. Now here, this was just a play based on the way the market was moving. I entered here again, added one more contract, and was able to scalp out here. And so that entry was at 53.25, and I scalped out at 59. So that was another 6.75 points that I was able to add. And I thought this thing was going to keep going up. Well, it turned against me again. And so every time it turns against you, you're taking on losses again. So I'm back in the red. All down here, I'm in the red. So even when I made this up, I was still in the red overall. Strong move down. This whole time, I see this previous day close down here. When it made the initial move, I really thought it was just going to go like straight down to the previous day close to close the gap and just crush me and make me lose the trade. At the lowest point before I added my first contract, I was down like $1,000 or $1,200 here. So still had a lot of drawdown left on my brand new 50K eval of the 2,500 drawdown. And so I was just working my way back in. And when this thing came all the way down here again and popped up, I mean, I was looking at it like, okay, well, here's my support, right? And so when this was popping up, I said, okay, I'm going to buy again, get in a new contract. So I got in a new contract here at 40.75. And then I was able to scalp out at 53.25. So that was, let's see, another 12-ish points, right? I don't want to stop and do the math right now. Another 12 points I made up there. At that point, like when it came up here, I I was looking pretty good. Like I could have probably gotten out of the trade right around here for a decent profit, maybe like half the profit I'm going for, around $100. But I didn't do that, and it again turned against me. So what I was looking at here was a new high, first entry, and I figured, well, if we make it above this red bar, then that would be a second entry long. And so I kind of or no, if you look at my live stream, and again, you can, no, this is not my live stream, but I talk about this on my live stream is the first thing I do when I start the live stream. So you can go back and hear me talk about it then too, which was a little fresher in my mind. But I think here what happened was it actually ticked up. So it triggered a second entry long. I got my order ready. It retraced a little bit. And so I got a better entry here. And so this is where I did my last add of a contract, and I entered at 45.75. And I took a scalp on that at 53.50. So right there was another almost 8 points, like 7.75 points, I think. And so that had me in really good shape. When it was back up here again, I was profitable. I could have gotten out for a decent amount, over $100 for sure. Then it turned immediately against me. I had no time to even consider actually taking that. And then luckily this thing pushed up, and then I was ready with my order. Kind of, I had it a little bit higher actually towards the top of the candle as it was coming up. And then when it got to about this level, I just decided, okay, I don't want to risk opening price rejecting it back down again. So I just moved it and took it. And I was able to make $260 on that trade. $290 before commissions, but $262 on the trade. Going for 22 tick scalps on these Alpine trades for myself. So I should make $212 if it just goes perfectly well. So I for my trouble of the 22 minutes and the pain and suffering, I was able to get an extra $50, squeak out an extra $50. So that was exciting, an exciting early morning start. Now, ideally, my entry would have not been close enough to get triggered in by a tick. Looking at this, I put it high enough where I figured I was out of the danger zone, that if it got that high, it should shoot up. And I was expecting a retest of the high at that point. It didn't happen, and it shot the other way. Now, if I didn't get triggered into this trade, it would have been a nice, easy win on the short trade. And I saw, I took a look and I saw that Alpine actually did take the short side here, and he won very easily. So I had to do a lot more work than Alpine on the trade today, but this is his concept. And so far it's working for me. It's very early days. We'll see how we do. But that was a great first trade. I wasn't able to calculate how many ticks, obviously, because of all these added contracts throughout the trade. But $262 win was lovely, and I will take it. So 2-0 for the Orb, formerly known as Orb. I'm calling it the Alpine. So that was great. 2-0. I won yesterday, won today. I will continue to test that out and see what I can make of it, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll report back every day after the trade, and talk about it during my live stream, as well as talk about it after the fact in the reviews, and after the fact in my live stream. So let's move on to my the regularly scheduled program of my normal trading strategy for my scalping technique for trading on stream here. Let's take a look. All right, so as you can see here, now this is back to a tick chart. And I was doing a lot of talking about the opening trade. I mean, obviously, I was caught up in that on this mess. And so by the time I got on stream, it was right around 7 o'clock. This thing was moving down, and it went to close the gap. There were no trades for me in that at all that I could have taken. I wasn't prepared or ready for any trades at that time. There was a trade. Now you can see, so these levels are very important, and that's why I have them on my chart. Previous day close. It closed the gap by getting there. And then once it satisfied that, it did nothing but move up the rest of the day. So, at that point that I closed the gap, there's no real way to kind of look at this and know what it's going to do. But what I was thinking, and let me make this bigger. What I was thinking here was that there wasn't really a reason to think it's going short, and there wasn't really a reason necessarily to think it's going long, except for the fact that if you do a measured move from here, then you've got a target way up here, which seems unlikely sometimes. But there's also another target that you can do like this that puts you right back at testing the highs of the day. And so because I had that in mind, as well as the bigger one in mind, there was actually a short that set up here. And I wasn't really quite ready to take a trade yet, but also I just wasn't thinking short. I had destinations higher at the time in my mind. This was a trade that would have worked. I didn't take it, would have worked easily, but I missed it, skipped it, whatever you want to call it. My second trade of the day, I did take on PA6 and PA7 combined, copied. And the reason for that is, 7 is just, ready to blow on any kind of drawdown. So I took that, the trade on this one with one contract, thinking, well, if it blows mid-trade, it will also be on PA6. And if it works, no matter what, I'll get the win if it wins on at least one of these accounts, if not both. And so I did get the win. I got 11 ticks on this trade, and first entry, second entry, and it was with my kind of thesis for the day of where the price was going. So that was perfectly what I like to see for that trade. Now, let me go to another chart. This is where my third trade of the day set up. And as you can see, this did not follow what my thesis was for what we were doing. I don't have it drawn on here, but again, I have the measured move here that I have in mind for the big move, as well as a measured move in mind for the smaller move, which puts us right back to the high of the day. So if I stretch this out so you can see it, it's already not with what I'm thinking in terms of my read on price action. It's also, it's going right into the EMA. The EMA has been steadily pushing up. Now it did, look a little bit flat here, but again, my strategy that I'm trading is, this chart, every single second entry on this chart since the previous day open, session open, every single second entry has worked for my profit target on this chart. So my edge and what I'm supposed to do in my strategy is take the trade. So even though it didn't fit what my analysis or what my subjective thought process was on what the market was doing, I took the trade because I'm supposed to, and it took a loss. Now, this was on PA2. This is the account, PA2, that was within $340 of qualifying for a payout not very long ago. I mean, literally a week ago and less, it was $340 away. And it was like $400 away. And then I've lost 3 times in a row. So ever since I had that mishap, if you go back and look last week, there was a winning trade I had on PA2 that my copier got messed up and I got entered into the trade on the exit point instead of the entry. And I got entered into an opposite trade and I lost like $70 because I just canceled out of it real quickly. Ever since that happened and I took that $70 loss and I was $340 away, maybe 360, whatever it was, I've taken 3 losses in a row on that account, which is just so unlikely, given I'm an 80% trader and given that the losses should be randomly distributed. It's just unlikely, but it's within, when you're 80%, you can have 3 losses in a row. You can even have 4, 5, 6 losses in a row being 80%, and still be 80%. So it can happen. But this is the thing I've been struggling with lately. And I talked about this a little bit in my live stream. Again, anything I talk about today, if you want to hear more about it, watch the live stream because I talked in depth about a lot of this. But there's so many reasons to not take this trade. It doesn't fit my market analysis. It's going right into the EMA, which has been strongly supporting price moving up. It supported it here, 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 and I'm trading a short right into it. The thing it had going for it was that the opening price was continuously playing resistance, right? I mean, I'm going to draw this. This was continuously playing resistance. So the entry is a lower high off of playing resistance again. So, it had that one thing going for it. And it had the thing of, well, the chart was working all day. There hadn't been any entries that didn't work for my profit target. And so I'm supposed to take the trade, and so I took it. So I'm proud of myself. I think it's the right thing to do. I'm supposed to take that trade. That's my edge. And what's supposed to happen is I'm not supposed to care where the losses fall in these accounts. None of these accounts I should care about individually. And this is like the prime thing I want to talk about today is I got so caught up in only thinking about PA2 because it was going to be close to passing. That I really wanted to get that payout. I really wanted to get break even for my Apex expenditures. And so all I've been thinking about is PA2 as I get closer and closer. And the closer and closer I got, the less and less I took the trades I was supposed to take. And so I would pass up trades like this, and then they would win. And I go, I can't take it for this reason. I can't take it for that reason. And I take a loss because I skipped the winning trade. And then, somewhere later, a trade that looked better to me, I would take, and then that's the one that would be the first loss of the day. So that's the thing that I'm really trying to find a balance with, and the thing that I've struggled the most with, especially, there's no doubt that when you have one account and you haven't had a payout yet, and you have one account getting close to payout, there's no way you're not going to treat it differently. There's no way I'm not going to treat it differently. That's what I found out. That's what I've learned. Because it's happened multiple times. I've now had a total of 4 or 5 different PA accounts be close to a payout within 1 or 2 trades, and I blew up 4 of them. You can see I'm missing PA 1, 3, 4, and 5. I blew up all of those. Those were all within a trade or two of getting to a payout, and you can see that on my live stream, or not my live stream, but on my YouTube channel at the end of last year. And you can see how I went from being close to getting a payout on all of those within one trade to blowing them all up. And now I'm following the footsteps again on PA2 and trading totally different system. I was trading on the ES before. I was trading my own different system than this. And it was working great until it wasn't. And then it blew up, and I blew up all my accounts. I also blew up my live cash account when that happened at the end of last year. And now it's, it's like I'm on repeat. It changes you when you have that target and you're so close, and it's like, it's not real money until you hit the target. You have to fulfill the target, and then it can be real money. And so I don't feel like, I'm down $1,600 or $1,700 from the high of what the balance was. And I don't feel like I lost that money. That's not what I'm saying, because I know better, because of following Alpine, that these are just tickets. It's like playing skee ball at the arcade, and you have to, get a good score, and it spits out a bunch of tickets when you're done playing. And then you have to take the tickets to the gift center, the reward desk, and you have to turn your tickets in, and then you get your prize, right? So these are tickets. This is not real money. I didn't lose $548 today, and I don't feel like I lost $548 today. The most risk I am is the amount of money I spent on the account. And on average, it's taking me about $200 to acquire a PA account. On average, I think this one was a little bit more if I remember when I calculated it. But on average, $200 per PA. And that's the most I can actually lose if I blow up this account. So I don't look at like I've lost $1,600 since the peak of the balance. I don't look at like I lost $548, because that's kind of what I've learned from watching Alpine, and I think he's right. It's just that I'm farther away from the target. And the hard thing is when you get that close, you're so close to the high score, and you're pushing, you're trying to get to the high score, but you're also being more careful. And that's where more mistakes can happen. That's where you can stop doing things that led to you being successful, to building up the account and getting to that point. You start doing things differently, and then this is what happens. I go from being at 52,360, I think it was, to now I'm at 50,640. It's a big swing, but it's just another lesson learned on my path here, on my journey, and that's why I'm showing this, and that's why I'm talking on YouTube here. And it's kind of like a live journal, and it's been great for me because I'm getting all these thoughts out that I don't usually express, and I'm able to say it here. And so now it's resonating with me, and I'm learning from it as I move forward. So this has been a really great growth opportunity for me to do this YouTube channel, and I'm learning from it. And so today, this is exactly what's supposed to happen with my system. If I'm 80% trader, then if I'm taking one trade per account and moving on, and that's what I do, that's my risk management. I take a trade, win or lose, I move on to the next account. Take a trade, win or lose, move on to the next account. If I do that, and I'm an 80% trader, and I get 10 trades in a day, then 8 of these accounts, more times than not, most days, will have wins. 8 days, I'll have, or 8 accounts will be improved every day, and 2 accounts, or maybe only 1 account, will get a loss on those days. And so my theory, and I haven't proved it yet in terms of payouts, but my theory is if I can do that, then the losses will get randomly distributed, and enough accounts will get to the thresholds of payouts and passing accounts as I move through this. And it's just a numbers game at that point, because the losses should not hit the same account 3 times in a row. I mean, it's kind of like the worst, unluckiest, untimely manner that I managed to hit 3 losses in a row, and the unfortunate win that turned into a negative P&L that day. But this doesn't happen very often when you're an 80% trader. Usually the losses will hit other accounts too. And so in the meantime, you're getting wins on this and you're building it back up. And that's what happened previously a few times. Now I've taken the extra loss here. So that's how I'm managing these accounts. I'm trading these one at a time. If that Alpine trade, the opening trade, starts being really consistent for me, and I see that I'm executing it well and able to really make it work every day like he does, then yeah, I'm going to start copy trading at least 1 extra account to get started and start kind of turbocharging my accounts, hopefully. But right now, I'm just going to trade that only on the account 36. And so that's why you see 2 days traded with the Alpine, only the Alpine strategy being traded on that account. All right, I'm starting to lose my voice, and this video is starting to get really long, so I'm going to move this along here. But I think I've said everything there is to say about this trade. The great thing is, I didn't feel any sort of way about this at all. I accepted the loss, and I just moved on. And I think that's a benefit to me regardless, no matter what happens with this account, even if it gets blown up. And it's a benefit to me that I was able to just move on, and I picked up 2 more wins after this loss. So it didn't affect me. I didn't let it change what I was doing. I wasn't like, the thing by having the 1 trade per account rule is that you can't revenge trade it and try to bring it back, because you're just trading on fresh accounts. So there's no reason to like try to push something on other accounts that aren't affected anyway. So it's the best lesson to learn. Accept the loss, come back another day, try to help it another day. But meanwhile, these aren't cash accounts. These aren't live funded cash accounts. Like, if I blow this account up, it doesn't matter, because I have other accounts and I can get more accounts and just replace it. And you're starting at the starting balance again. You don't have to rebuild the account back, once it's blown up. So that's Alpine's way of thinking about it. And it really helps me. And today's a successful day, even despite this. Oh, and the best thing about taking this loss today, and it's a real lesson, a real good reminder to me, is I still feel great about today. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts that are in the green that were, that I profited, and I made the accounts better. Now, granted, one of the accounts is still in bad shape, and this one's in decent shape. And one of the evaluations too is still in bad shape. But it still moved those accounts in a better direction. Unfortunately, I didn't get any trades for these 3 evaluations at the top, which are my better standing evaluations. So it's too bad that I didn't get like the $364 win on one of those, but it is what it is. But the great thing is just I'm not stressing about the loss, you know, and I'm not going to walk away from the day feeling like a losing day. It's a winning day. Overall, I'm up 424 when you add up the accounts, and I made 5 accounts better than they were when I started the day. So just because one account is worse doesn't matter, and it is a reminder too, because now this account is nowhere near getting a payout. It's no different than all the other accounts, and that's the way I really want to trade these accounts as I move forward. Is no single account should matter more than another account, whether it's an evaluation or a PA account. As long as I'm trading within my strategy, they'll all get to where I want to get them. And I just have to trade them the same way across the board. And the losses are going to come, let them fall where they may. And meanwhile, the other accounts are going to move forward and get to their goals. And that's like the best thing that could have happened for me this week, is for me to be humbled, to not get the payout, make me work harder for it, make me like truly lean into my system better, and not get caught up on like, oh, this account matters too much. Like, I don't want to risk this account on this trade right now. I think I'll wait for a better trade. No, man, that's what's gotten me in trouble on every strategy I've ever had, is that kind of thinking, trading out of fear, and not just taking the trade and using my edge. And the edge plays out how the edge plays out. There's no edge that's 100%. There's literally no edge that's 100%. Every edge, every strategy is going to get a loss. And so just accepting where you're going to take the loss and move on, right? Eventually, when I do have some payouts, and if I can get there, if I can get break even and eventually get a little bit profitable, I'm going to trade where every single trade can potentially blow up my account. Right now, the only trade that can do that is the Alpine trade. And I'm only trading it on this free evaluation. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, account 36 was a free evaluation. So it's another reason why I'm trading it on that account. I got the account just for this specific purpose of testing the Alpine trade. And I literally have nothing to lose. It's either going to work beautifully, and I'm going to get it to pass and have a PA account, and I'm going to trade the same Alpine trade on that PA account. And then if it just seems to be working over the course of a little bit of time here, I may start adding accounts. But that Alpine trade, I have no stop. I'm not using a stop. The account is the stop. So every single time I'm in the trade, I could lose the account. That's for sure. And we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this is getting really long-winded. 42 minutes. Okay, moving on to the next chart here. So I'll try to get through this a little bit quicker. So this was back to the chart where I had my second win of the day that I already talked about. Now, my theory here. Now, I want to do a little bit more of this too, which is, let me draw this now on this chart. There has been this resistance all day, right? Basically put it there, touched it here, wicked, resisted, touched it here, wicked, resisted, wicked, resisted, wicked, resisted, wicked, resisted, body is wicks, resisted here. But I have these measured moves, right? And so I really believed that my read was good. We had already closed the gap to the low side, so there's no reason for it to turn down. And we had the smaller measure move and the bigger measure move, so still saying we were going to go higher. And my original thesis at the open was that we were going to retest the high. So there's just so many reasons analyzing the market, having a read on the market, that I really believed that if we broke out of that resistance level, that it would just shoot up and make a new high of the day. And so this is the other thing that I want to start kind of folding into my trading a little bit, which I haven't talked enough about yet, which is I've been really mechanical. My trading system that I just showed you, like trade number 2, and what I was just talking about, is very mechanical, very black and white. And that's served me very well. Max Pat system didn't serve me well. It's very subjective. You're drawing trend channels. People draw trend channels different ways. There's no one way to draw them, and you can make your eyes see multiple things. There could be one here, there could be one there, there could be one there, there could be one there, there could be one here. There's so many ways to draw them, and so it becomes very subjective, right? Now, that I was having a hard time with that. And when I first started trading futures, I was trading very subjectively, and I did terribly, trading subjectively. I said, I'm never going to trade that away again. But I've got to realize, and this is something I am realizing recently, that my read of the market, how I'm reading price action, is light years ahead of how I used to read price action. I've gotten so much better, and I've really noticed it even just in the last couple of weeks that I've been very difficult trading, is that when I have a read on the market, I've been generally right about it. And a lot of times I'm just watching the price go and do what I thought it was going to do. And I didn't have an entry that, according to my black and white system. And so I can't take a trade. I just watch it go without me. And so I decided that I'm going to be very calculated and take certain risks at certain times when I have a good read on the market, and trade things like this. And this trade basically represents like a version of the Alpine trade at the open. And basically I saw it as resistance, and I had a target of where I believed price was going. And so I placed in a stop order just above, outside the the top of what you want to call range or resistance. And very much like what I did on the opening trade of the day, where I got top ticked here. I just made sure it was a little bit higher. Where is it? Just a little bit higher, make sure I don't get top ticked and it goes the other way on me again. But if I figured if it got to right here, then it was going to just shoot up. And that's exactly what happened. I put my order in just above where I felt like, okay, if it gets this far, then it's definitely going to break out, and make that new high that I had been expecting all day. And that happened exactly. And I was able to capture 28 ticks. So because I knew it was a riskier play, I did do it on evaluation 35, which was my worst standing evaluation account. It was really close to getting liquidated. Now I've got $500 in it. I think I had less than $200, I think, or around $200, whatever it was, before it was going to get liquidated. So, in hindsight, it's like I wish I did it on an account that's more important, or it would be more useful. But it was a good opportunity to see that I can take trades like this. I can take some limited subjective trades just based on my knowledge, what I've experienced. I've got over 3 years experience trading futures, and I got to be able to trust my reads and take advantage of opportunities when I see them. So I'm going to do that a little bit. It's like Luke Skywalker when he's trying to blow up the Death Star, and Obi-Wan Kenobi tells him, search your feelings, trust yourself, Luke, whatever he says there. And he stops using the computer and guides the missiles, and he shoots it based on his own Jedi instincts. Well, that was this trade for me right here. And that was like just a learning moment of, hey, when you have a read, take advantage of it. I do have a lot of experience at this point. I've observed a lot of price action, and there's certain calls I can make where I can say, you know what, it's a subjective discretionary trade, but take the trade. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And that's the other thing that's been really good about doing this YouTube thing. I know this video is getting really long. I'm just rambling on, almost 50 minutes. But this is more for me than for anybody anyway. So I'm just gonna be honest about that. This is like me getting my thoughts out, because when I express it and say it out loud, I'm actually learning from it, and it's sticking with me, and I'm able to improve as I move forward. So this was just really a sign to me of like, don't be afraid of being wrong, and when I first started doing the YouTube, and when I first started live streaming, every step of the way, there's always a little bit of fear of like looking like an idiot, putting this on YouTube, having people see it and commenting, you're an idiot, you suck, whatever it is. But having done this now to this point, I still don't have a ton of subscribers or a ton of viewers, but I have enough where putting it out there has taught me like, who cares? Don't worry about that. Just do your thing. If I fuck up, I fuck up. If I get a loss, I get a loss. And I'm not going to be worried about being wrong. That's been the biggest hurdle to my trading. And that's what happened to me on PA2. anytime I'm afraid of being wrong, anytime I trade out of fear of losing, fear of being wrong, fear of not getting the payout, fear of losing money, whatever the case is, that's when I lose. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when I trade according to my system, my strategy, my instincts, my read of price action, my observations, my experience, I do well. And I need to just lean into what works. And that's the great thing, is what this YouTube channel is teaching me is like, don't fear the losses. Don't be embarrassed by them. Everyone gets losses. Everyone fucks up. Like I've seen, some of the people that think they're the greatest traders in the world on YouTube, and they get their loss and they hide it, and they delete the video, or they just don't talk about it. They don't show it. It's happening in the background, or they show one out of however many there probably are, and they're just lying to themselves, and they're not helping themselves actually. So and they're lying to their viewers, which sucks even more to me, I think. But anyway. Really important stuff for me today, between this, the Alpine opening trade, the loss on the PA account. And I still have one more trade to show, which is right here. So now this is after the breakout happened. And I still had the larger measured move that I had from earlier. And so still believed in that. And I was having a lot of conversation and talking quite a bit. The live stream was really good. Check it out, because for whatever I've said here, I probably said more and better things in the live stream today during the conversation I had with my couple new friends that have joined me in the channel today. So here we had a new high. This is just trading back to my normal BS trading system, which is what I refer to it as, BS. Had a new high, first entry, second entry, and this is like the prime example of like, this is a trade that Mac in price action trading system would tell you can't take this trade because it's a terrible signal bar. And I took the trade and it worked beautifully. And I got 14 ticks. This was on PA8. This is my newest account. 14 ticks. I did trade it with 3 contracts, made $193. Typically, I've only been trading PAs with 2 contracts. I'm going to trade this one with 3 because, quite frankly, whether I lose with 3 contracts or lose with 2 contracts, it doesn't matter. I can still absorb 1 loss on the account, maybe more than 1 loss. So it puts me in the same position, whatever. But the reality is, if I was trading PA2 with 3 contracts from the get-go, I would have had a payout long ago. At a certain point, I started trading with 2 contracts, and I lowered it to 1 contract. Then I, was trading 1 contract for a while. Then I went back to 2. I think I went to 1 when I was getting closer. And I was like, if I just stuck with even 2 contracts originally, I would have got the payout if I never went to the 1 contract. Then I went back to 2, and just, I decided, I think 3 is what I need to do on PAs. At least 3 on a 50K account. So that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Max says I can't take this trade. It's a bad signal bar. Well, guess what? It worked. I'm not drawing trend channels. I'm not using his rules. I'm not looking for where a retest and a new high should be. I have in mind, like, yeah, this looks like a strong move up that should get a retest of the high. I've got a measured move. The measured moves is a thing that I took from Mac that I really like, and I think it works, and it's worth keeping in mind always. And I like those. And when they don't get reached, it often turns hard in the opposite direction. It says don't trade off inside bars. Don't do this. Don't do that. I threw that all away. The trade worked beautifully. It was my first trade on my newest PA account, which I did obtain with this new system, with the trading system that I've been trading this year on NQ. And, I'm just going to do this thing. I'm going to keep going in this direction and, learning a lot of great things that I need to learn for myself to be able to get past this hurdle. So, I feel really good about today. I don't care about PA2 anymore. PA2 is just one of a number of accounts. I've got everything I need in place to not only get break even at some point, but start making money. And I have a feeling that when it happens, it's taking me a long time to get there, but I have a feeling that once it happens, I'm going to have put enough things together that it's going to start happening faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. My one payout that's taken so long to get to is going to lead to a second one, and it's going to lead to another one, and it's going to lead to another one. And I've seen it happen with Alpine, and I believe it can happen for me too, that the snowball effect can just happen, multiple accounts and confidence building and get there. So let's see here. So yeah, I think I'm on the right path, and I'm really happy I'm doing this YouTube thing. If I don't get any subscribers, if it doesn't lead anywhere, it'll be a great living journal for me. And I do go back to old videos sometimes and just listen to what I was saying about certain situations and circumstances, and it's helping me as I move forward. So if anyone else gets anything out of this, that's awesome. I say it all the time, or I should say it more maybe. I'm not trying to teach anyone how to trade. I'm not qualified to teach anyone to trade. Nobody should watch what I'm doing and think like, oh, I've got, like you should be trading like me, or that's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think anyone should trade like me. That you should find what works for you. And what's worked for me and what's starting to work for me more and more is just taking the things that work that I see other people doing and throwing away the things that aren't working for me. It's really hard to trade like somebody else. Like I tried to trade like Mac on ES for 3 years. And while I would have moments, week here, weeks there, a month there of where it was really happening and working, but slowly, as much as that worked, there were weeks where I hit the wall, months where I hit the wall, and just, the whole thing would come crashing down. And it's because I was trying to trade like someone, just like them. And it's really hard. You can't, I'm starting to really believe that you can't just pick up someone else's system and trade it and be successful doing exactly what they would do, because everyone sees the market different. So I think for me, what's working best is taking what's working for other people, seeing it, internalizing it, and then taking the pieces of it that I can use and make what I'm doing better. And so that's all I would ever suggest to anybody is if there's anything in any of this that you think might be helpful, then yeah, test it out, try it out, explore it. That's what I'm doing. I'm just showing that process right here on YouTube. And, hopefully it's as helpful for you as it feels like it's going to be for me. So yeah, I had a great live stream today. There was a lot of conversation, which I really appreciated. Finally starting to get some more subscribers coming in and people finally starting to chat with me. And I love that. I think it just makes the stream more interesting. It definitely makes me more interesting because sometimes I just don't have enough to talk about. If no one's chatting with me, I'll talk about the trade I take, or I'll kind of talk about sometimes out loud what I think the market's doing. Or if I see something on other YouTube channels I might talk about, but otherwise it kind of inspires more conversation. I think it makes my channel more lively. It definitely makes my day feel more interesting, and I like it. So come to the live stream. If you're just watching this and you haven't checked it out yet, come to the live stream, chat, ask questions, share what you're up to. I like to see how other traders are doing as well, and and it's all a part of helping me evolve my strategies and what I'm doing. I'm just going to continue to modify and adjust and just try to improve. Right now, I've fallen a little bit lower than I've been 80+% this whole time. Now I'm at 79%, so I'm falling a little bit back. A couple rough trading weeks. Market's been a lot harder recently, but hopefully the market will get back to what it was doing when I was working well, or I'll continue to adapt and do what I need to do to just trade well in whatever market conditions come. So, appreciate it if you check me out on the live stream, like and subscribe so you know when I'm on. I generally am on every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And I will be trading that Alpine trade pre-stream, and then I will talk about it during the live stream as well as in the review. And so 2-0 on that Alpine trade so far. 4 and 1 for the day, 80%, right where I expect to be. And 7 and 4 for the week, definitely behind where I should be, but maybe, hopefully, I'll have a strong day tomorrow, finish out the week strong. And 170 wins, 44 losses overall, 79%. Do use my code. I appreciate it. There's been a few people that have been using it lately, and it definitely helps me. I'm not going to lie, like the little bit of a kickback is like a little bit of a rebate on some of the fees I'm incurring, like the monthly fees I'm still having on these evaluations currently. So I really appreciate it. You always do get the best discount when you use my code. No matter what offer is out there at the time, you always get the best one. And if you use my code, it doesn't cost you any more money, which is good. I wouldn't want to use it if it wasn't giving you the best deal. So, but even having said all that, if you don't want to use my code, just make sure you use a code, get the best discount, because these accounts are expensive if you're paying full price, and there should never be anybody ever that pays full price, because there's plenty of codes out there that you can use. So I appreciate it. 1 day pass still going on. Both promos go till the end of the month, April 30th. And as you can see, I don't bother with the 1 day pass. I'm trading my system. Whatever days it takes to pass, it takes to pass. Maybe one day when I'm profitable and I'm just trading with Apex's money, I'll just YOLO evaluations and just try to get to PAs and be trading primarily PAs. Because the evaluation costs it won't matter to me at that point, which is kind of how Alpine does it as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, 4 and 1 for today. Overall, up about $420 between all the accounts, and I think it was a good day. I got a lot out of today. I'm feeling really positive and hopeful for the future. Been struggling lately, and so the struggle is real. I'm just a normal guy just trying to make it happen. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that. All right. I've definitely said it all. It's been an hour. I've talked another hour on top of my 5-hour live stream. All right. It's time to wrap it up. Call it a day. I've definitely said it all. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And I'll be back at it tomorrow live streaming at 10 a.m. Eastern. Come check it out. Thanks. Bye.